Wang Yibo turns 29. 1,000 plus drones, 28 cities. The fan celebration that broke the internet in China. What does it look like when millions of people celebrate someone? Not because they were asked to, but because they genuinely want to. On August 5, 2026, Wang Yibo celebrated his 29th birthday. Unlike the extravagant celebrity birthdays often seen in the entertainment industry, this year's celebration stood out for a different reason. There was no dramatic publicity campaign or official hype leading the event. Instead, what unfolded was a global celebration driven by genuine admiration, mutual respect, and years of trust between an artist and the people who have supported him. I'll admit I went in expecting spectacle. I didn't expect to come away thinking about how rarely fan culture gets to look this gentle. Looking at the scale alone, the birthday projects were undeniably breathtaking. Starting from his hometown of Luoyang, the celebrations expanded across China and reached fans around the world. Thousands of taxis displayed birthday greetings. City buses carried dedicated messages. While over 1,000 drones illuminated the night sky above Dingding Gate in a carefully choreographed light performance. At Laojun Mountain, hundreds of blessing plaques fluttered in the wind, creating a symbolic connection between Wang Yibo's roots and the people wishing him happiness. There's something almost cinematic about a mountain covered in handwritten wishes. It's the kind of image that a marketing team could never fully manufacture, because it depends on thousands of individual people deciding, on their own, that this was worth doing. Across 28 Chinese cities, iconic landmarks joined the occasion. Chongqing's Liberation Monument Twin Towers, Qingdao's Fushan Bay, Chengdu's Tianfu Grand Roof, and several Ferris wheels lit up simultaneously with birthday messages. Massive LED screens transformed familiar cityscapes into temporary tributes, giving ordinary pedestrians, many of whom likely have no interest in Wang Yibo at all, unexpected glimpses of the celebration. The support even extended into daily life. A themed Hangzhou metro train carried birthday visuals through the city. Shenzhen metro screens displayed greetings throughout the network. An enormous 3D display in Changsha continuously played a specially produced birthday video. And a dedicated airline flight carried birthday wishes into the skies. Here's where I have to be honest about my own mixed feelings. Seeing an entire metro line rebranded for one person's birthday can look, from the outside, like fandom at its most excessive. The kind of spending that critics of celebrity culture love to point to. But what struck me wasn't simply the money invested or the record-breaking numbers. In today's fandom culture, it is surprisingly easy for support projects to become competitions over who can spend the most. A kind of arms race where the point is bragging rights rather than affection. This felt different, and I think the difference is in the detail. Many of these gestures seemed designed to express something rather than to win something. Less proving financial power, more building a shared memory after years of following one person's career. I won't pretend everyone will read it that way. Plenty of reasonable people will still see excess and shrug. But it's worth separating the scale of a celebration from its sincerity, because the two aren't always the same thing. One of the most creative ideas this year was an immersive fan exhibition inspired by Wang Yibo's passion for motorsports. Instead of simply displaying photos, the organizers built themed experience zones reflecting different sides of his personality, his racing interests, artistic journey, and personal growth. Birthday cakes customized in different cities and interactive installations gave fans opportunities to celebrate together rather than simply observe from afar, which is in a small way the whole point. Fandom at its best isn't a spectator activity, it's a shared one. International fans became a natural part of the story too. Supporters from Canada, Singapore, and many other countries recorded multilingual birthday messages. In Japan, several cinemas organized screenings of one of Wang Yibo's films for the third consecutive year, while fan communities in Vietnam and Taiwan hosted theater bookings and offline gatherings. Each country celebrated differently, shaped by its own local customs. And yet the underlying feelings stayed remarkably consistent. Appreciation that had grown steadily over time, rather than appearing overnight. That consistency across languages and borders is, to me, the more interesting data point than the drone count. Spectacle can be commissioned. This kind of quiet, repeated show of loyalty across cultures generally can't. The part that actually moved me had nothing to do with lights or screens. Many fan groups chose to mark the day through charity, donating to install streetlights for schools in remote mountain regions, funding other public welfare initiatives under Wang Yibo's name. I think this is one of the healthier directions fandom can take. Admiration turning into something that helps people who have never heard of the person being admired. It's easy to be cynical about parasocial devotion, and sometimes that cynicism is earned. But a streetlight outside a rural school doesn't care why it got funded. Another detail quietly stayed with me. This marked the 7th consecutive year that Wang Yibo's studio posted a birthday message exactly at midnight. Rather than recycling generic wishes, each annual message has reflected a different stage of his life and career. Reading them together feels less like a marketing archive and more like a personal diary written from the outside. One year celebrating breakthroughs in acting, another recognizing his expanding interests, and now acknowledging a man learning to balance ambition with peace of mind. This year's message felt unusually mature, and honestly, a little surprising for the genre. Instead of framing 29 as another milestone demanding bigger achievements, it portrayed this age as a period of adjustment and balance. A reminder that success isn't only about pushing forward, but also about knowing when to rest and reconnect with oneself. One line especially stayed with me. Trying is worthwhile, and giving up is also okay. Just remember to sleep peacefully. Ride that again against the backdrop of an industry that treats rest as a weakness and burnout as a rite of passage. And it starts to feel almost quietly rebellious. Celebrities are constantly expected to achieve more, work harder, never slow down. A studio-approved statement telling millions of followers that giving up is also okay is not the message this industry usually sends. It suggested that protecting one's well-being matters just as much as chasing another accomplishment. Acknowledging the person behind the public image, not only the superstar selling tickets. That, I suspect, is the real reason so many people describe Wang Yibo's relationship with his supporters as a two-way journey rather than a one-way performance. His career has never relied on loud self-promotion. Over the years, he has continued expanding his abilities through acting, music, stage performances, professional motorcycle racing, and even rock climbing. Whether every project becomes a blockbuster is almost secondary. What many admirers seem to value is the consistency, the willingness to keep learning and exploring, without constantly demanding attention in return. And fans have shifted alongside him. Their support increasingly shows up as charity work, cultural events, and community projects, rather than just streaming numbers or trending hashtags. None of this makes the fandom immune to the usual problems. Disagreements and controversies still surface, as they do in any large community, and it would be dishonest to pretend otherwise. But a birthday like this one is a useful reminder that fan culture also has a better register, built on creativity and generosity, rather than competition for its own sake. Wang Yibo's 29th birthday was never really about spectacular drone shows or dazzling city lights, even if those are what photographs best. Underneath the spectacle, it reads as a small case study in how an artist's relationship with an audience can mature over time. Fame draws attention, but it's sincerity that keeps people showing up years later. After nearly a decade in the spotlight, Wang Yibo appears to have cultivated something genuinely uncommon in modern entertainment. Supporters who celebrate not only his achievements, but also his happiness, his health, and the ordinary business of growing older. As he enters this new chapter, the simplest wish is probably still the best one. May he keep pursuing whatever brings him fulfillment, meet both the hard days and the quiet ones with the same steadiness, and stay surrounded by people who value him not only for what he's accomplished, but for who he's becoming. Happy 29th birthday, Wang Yibo. Here's to another year of growth, balance, and new adventures.